the complex world. A lot of changes are happening in the world today. So we always find it difficult to balance between our work life, family life, and personal life. We hardly find time to concentrate on spirituality and look inward. So could you please help us how we manage our priorities and how we concentrate on our business priorities and still be able to manage, because otherwise we are almost at the fag end of our life. If we can't do it now, we can never do it. So could you please guide us on that?
I think I should answer this question in your own language. You are a pharmacy man, and every pharmaceutical product comes with certain terms and conditions. There is a dosage, there is a timing, and when it's taken at the right time, at the right dosage, it works. If it is taken at the wrong timing and the wrong dosage, instead of helping, it harms. I think in our life also, everything has to be given its due place, due attention, not more and not less. While I can fully understand that as business people, priorities of running a business, especially when so many people are dependent on you for their existence, their livelihoods, it's a pressure of a great kind. It's not easy. And so some sacrifices are made. But I always ask at the end of it, our scripture is so clear in India, what is the purpose of why we are born and why we do what we do? It's very clear. It all should lead to ultimately one's emancipation. If you have done everything, you became the richest and have the biggest businesses, yet at the end you have not found your true self, the truth within, then the life is considered a waste. Yes, I'm very nice. Adi Shankaracharya will call you as somebody who has committed suicide by wasting a life which could have otherwise been used for attaining a higher goal. So that clear is our scripture. At the same time, see, the business class or the people who are quite busy with these kind of enterprises, they also have a great role to play. What you can do is that think of your business as something that leads you to that idea of moksha.
Okay.
Instead of segregating as this is my business and worldly life, and this is my spiritual and the higher life, instead of segregating them, can you find a way to think that they actually are not different from each other? Your work becomes your worship. Your duty is God. What I mean by that is, when you work, you don't work for the sake of gaining some personal recognition or, for your selfish sake. Your businesses, your work, your life becomes an extension of love and compassion that you otherwise are developing within yourself. So your work is not different from your worship.
I think
if you can, as business communities, if we can think that what businesses we do are ethical, are safe for the environment, are for the sake of improving the lives of people, and we consider that as our way of offering our service to whichever God we worship, I think the same act of daily life becomes worship. Having said that, don't take it too lightly as well. Then you find escapes routes, that no, I was so busy working that I have no time to see God or not to think of God. I think that also should not be the extreme. You yourself are your own judge as to whether you're being honest with yourself. So when you really feel this work is to be done for the sake of greater good of the world, that work itself becomes spiritual. And this is our, Janaka is the model for this. Our scriptures talk about King Janaka, who was spiritual within, but externally he was always working for the welfare of the society as a king. In fact, his guru says, when Janaka has a self-realization, and he says, I want to quit all this, and I want to only follow the path of God. And his guru Ashtavakra says, Janaka, you cannot, because you are meant to do what you have born to do. You are a king and you are supposed to run the kingdom. But the attitude should change. Earlier, you wanted to be a king and you wanted the kingdom. Now the kingdom wants you. Therefore, work for the kingdom. So this is the idea. You wanted to run the business for your growth. Now run the business for the betterment of the society. Yes. The change of attitude will change everything for you. Nevertheless, find some time, make it, as I said, the dosage should be correct. You must find some time every day. And I don't tell you to do 1 hour, 1.5 hours meditations and balancing your life and work. But I call it 1 minute meditation. It's very effective. After every 1 hour, take 1 minute off. And just calm yourself down. Just think through what you're doing, why you are doing. Are you on track? Are you deviating? And this 1 minute meditation can happen anywhere. You're walking up to your washroom, between 2 meetings, there is a break. While walking, you think of all those things that you can think of in a nice manner. In the sense, why are you doing what you're doing? Is it selfish or selfless? Is there a greater idea for which you are working? No, that is your meditation for the day. And all 1 minutes added together will be a good enough meditation for that day. So that way you can balance your spiritual life and other life. Second thing is, please share your vision, share your ideas with your family, so they are on board. Many times we ignore them, we think they don't need to know all this, but then they feel very left out. And many families break because the person has done very well for himself and the society, but didn't do much for his family. So you must take them all along with you, and little give and take is life. Sometimes you have to slow down your pace of business to help your family evolve. Sometimes you have to sacrifice the family time for the sake of business. At the end of it, your intention is important. If your intention is pure and selfless, you will find a way to balance everything.
Thank you, Sadhguruji. So I think this is what I've been trying to convince my family, and but since they don't align with my thought process, so they feel that we have done enough. So now this is time to actually spend time with the family and take care of your social, because I am very very poor in socializing, so I hardly attend social gatherings. So you say, how long you keep working like this, and where is the end for this? So what are you working for? I said, I'm not working for myself. I'm working for that, that gives me the satisfaction, because exactly like what you said, Swamiji. Now I have crossed that stage where I work for money or I work for success. I see a sense of purpose in what I'm doing. So I see the thousands of people connecting with that purpose. So that gives me the real joy. So
sometimes share this, take your family along with you and let them see the benefit of what you're doing.
Okay.
I think they will join you on your side instead of dragging you to the other side.
Yes.
You have to do that sometimes.
Yes, thank you, Swamiji. So next question, Swamiji. So what I have noticed is, in our corporate world, we have a lot of hierarchy, lot of systems, lot of KRAs and KPIs, so many metrics that we use for measuring the people performance, and we do a lot of reviews. In spite of that, we feel that the people do not give their best at workplace. Whereas I have seen in our ashram, this is second time, and I have also seen even in some other spiritual organizations where there is a very less hierarchy here. The people are self-driven, self-motivated, so they just work in a very cohesive manner and they make things happen. So why is that? And then that's how we are able to scale our operations to any level. Whereas in the business organization, we always find it difficult to scale our operations because somewhere the people don't align with our thought process, and we need to invest more time in reviewing and monitoring their performance. So that is something which I actually hate doing. Actually, I somehow don't believe too much in Excel sheets. I don't believe in too much of structured processes. But is it good to have structured processes? But my next generation people, they say that your business, you are not very successful because you are not believing in the process. So you have been always informal with the people and people have taken you for granted. But that is something which I always, it bothers me. Which one is right? So whether I should become very structured in approach in the business, or I should be, engaging the people into the purpose and then leave them on their own.
I keep telling our people this story about Tom and Jerry. You might have seen the cartoon series Tom and Jerry. All the time this Tom is chasing the Jerry but never gets to catch hold of it. And the reason for it is because while Tom is running for his food, Jerry is running for his life. Therefore, he can never catch him. So you run your business as your life, whereas your employees work there for a living. And that's the difference why they don't really get motivated as you. So unless that is also becomes their life's only purpose, only then they will engage. But most of the people are working for a livelihood, and if not this company, they'll move to the next one for a better salary, better prospects. So you can never get there 100%. In charitable organizations, this passion for doing good. See, the purpose is the topmost. You have purpose, you have people, and you have processes. Generally, most of the corporate organizations are stuck with people and processes. People don't follow processes, they pull them up. And the purpose is not shared. There is no shared vision for everyone. That's why I tell this another story, just to explain to you the background of what we are doing. Since John F. Kennedy went to the space station, NASA, when they were launching the man on the moon. And when he met a janitor at the gate or the lift, he asked the janitor, "What are you doing here?" And that person, so to say, grade D or whatever level worker, he told, I am helping America put a man on the moon. Look at his sense of purpose and shared vision. Same thing I tell our people from our hospital, from the watchman till the chairman, everybody should speak the same language. The watchman should also say, I am helping save a child. Chairman also should say, I'm helping save a child. Watchman by manning
Doing
the
his
gate,
duty, yeah.
chairman by manning the organization. See, unless we share the vision with everyone and they feel a part of it, we cannot make a successful venture. We can drag it for as long as we are there with processes and all these things. But purpose is the most important thing. And if we share that purpose with everyone, that means you have to spend a lot of time with your employees. And most of the time in the race for productivity, the management finds very little time to work with the last level of employees. There are great examples, and I am always appreciative of Tatas, and I've studied how Tatas build their organization. They are in touch with the last person. Their ears are on the ground, even of the top management. So that way the vision is shared. They see the vision walking and talking and breathing and speaking through the topmost man, and that rubs on to them. But hierarchies don't work. That's why our organization structure is very flat, very lean. In fact, if you put it that way, in an organizational way, suppose I am managing an organization here, I am available to the last person also. We have a program, Satsang in a Darshan, where we walk around. And when you walk around, even the sweeper's son can get up and stop me and ask me any question. And he has as much right on my time as everybody else. So we have to make that time for our last person, what you call the shop floor employee. Then they will share the vision. And when everybody speaks the same language, it is possible. But as I said, initially, Maslow's hierarchy, people come for food and security and all that stuff, and purpose comes much later in life. But if we look after them well, we share our vision, we spend time with them, we engage with them, sooner or later they will pick up this purpose. And employee retention is such an important thing, because it's otherwise the wastage of your all resources, time.
Correct, absolutely.
So if an employee comes with you and willing to stay all his life with you out of his own joy, you are a great leader, I would say. He doesn't want to leave even for better money, better opportunities, doesn't want to leave you. Then you have done your job as a great leader. So in service organization, that is what it said. The model is society, samstha, samaja, sarkara. Samsthas have this passion. In NGOs, this passion is there to do good, which you will not find in government and even in corporate side when people are working for just a living. So that is why this collaboration is so important. These are the people who go to the last mile to do the work. And if they are supported with the other two sections, I think anything can be achieved. But having said that, as corporates, you must spend a lot of time with your people. Absolutely. And share the vision, and not get so busy achieving things that you build very flimsy foundations on which the institution won't stand for too long. Sometimes an organic growth is good.
Thank you, Sadhguruji, because this is what strengthens my idea. This is what exactly I believe. In fact, whoever walks into my room, I spend more time in orienting them and selling the vision. And I discuss my ideas with every functional head. Even if it is not directly related to him, I discuss just to make him engage with the purpose. So thank you very much, Sadhguruji. And then the third thing what I've noticed here, that whatever the project that you have taken, it gets finished very fast. And your wish becomes a command for your team. And whereas we find it really difficult, we always overrun with our schedules and times. So I mean, that's another thing I wanted to really know. What is the secret here that, a lot of projects, not one, I think people have been sharing. So Sadhguruji comes and for the foundation stone, and he says, he fixes the muhurt, and at that day, the building is ready. So, I mean, that calls for, again, a lot of commitment of the team here.
Yeah, that's true. Half of the answer is in the previous question. They are driven by a sense of purpose. They find fulfillment, so they are willing to go that extra mile to do anything to make the vision happen. That is one part of it. The second part is that I'm always very goal-oriented. And most of this, you may think a spiritual organization is like quite loose in its process and things like that. But we are also a social service organization largely. And that's why we have to have a very tight timelines, efficiency. So somebody asked me, in fact, they're from Tata's again, when I met, he asked me, how is it that you finish everything on time? I told them, see, when I don't give them the start date of the project. I only give them the end date of the project. I tell start whenever you want, that's your convenience, but end date is fixed and you can't negotiate with me on that. And that makes everybody become very serious. So the earlier they start, the better it is for them. And as I said, they're driven by a sense of purpose. They're willing to work quite hard. And we are not paymasters, we can't be. We just pay average or whatever is needed according to the skills. Many people, in fact, in this hospital, many people work voluntarily.
Right.
And that's a huge savings for the institution, which can be used for something better. But more importantly, as I said, people are driven by a certain purpose. And one day one person was sitting and I said, I think I need to give you some more work. He said, Swami, I'm already working 24/7 here. I said, that's the minimum you must work for in our organization. So we don't work 9 to 5. We work 24/7 throughout the year. There is no day, night. And everybody works with joy. Nobody comes and complains to me, how much work you give us? So you imagine if your employees were working 24/7, naturally you will be somewhere else.
Yes.
So how do we finish projects faster? Everybody works harder, 24/7, out of joy, no pressure.
No pressure.
Out of joy. And they want to do it because I have told them they are so driven by purpose. And when we started hospitals, we built hospitals like Srinivasji's here. 9, 10, 12 months is the turnaround times. We begin the operations of the hospital from the scratch. So I told him, see, if it was your child, would you wait for another day? Would you not do it as fast as possible? And so everybody gets motivated. I must just to add a little bit, in the evening we're leaving to Sri Lanka. We are opening another pediatric cardiac care hospital. It's a super specialty, but one of the specialties, pediatric cardiac care. This evening we are leaving. And through the COVID times, through the Sri Lankan crisis, through all the import-export restrictions and licensing, and you name it in Sri Lanka, I thought India is the biggest red tape is in India, but Sri Lanka has a much bigger red tape. And that too, in these times, they have the audacity to not even give permissions and licenses to a company or to an organization which is coming and doing it free for their people. But still, we struggle through it, and people are on ground. They're still working on it. Our medical equipments are stuck at the port, yet they are all fighting their way to make sure that it happens. There are floods in the central Sri Lanka, no fuel. Yet we had decided a date. August 9th is the opening inauguration of the hospital, and everybody is working towards it. Idea is that this is what purpose can achieve. If we all feel the same purpose and vision, there is no limit to human potential. Infinite is the potential. So that is what I always tell, make your people be driven by purpose. Yes,
Thank
because
you.
other things won't work.
Sadhguru. So Sadhguru, it's heartening to know the kind of work that we are doing here. So in the areas of holistic health, holistic education, health and nutrition, the kind of world-class facilities that we are building, the scale at which we are doing this. Now, sometimes I wonder, when we are doing such a great work, why not we look at its sustainability and expand these benefits to some more people? Maybe we are now targeting the people who cannot afford these services, but can we also think of those lower middle class or middle class people to have a better education and better healthcare facilities with some fee, so that they will be happy to pay this? I'm sure this question was asked many times to you, and you have refused to accept that idea because you have a firm belief that this is the way to work. And I would like to once again listen to you, Swamiji.
I think every organization has certain core values that they should not compromise. And because of that, the organization grows. The moment you start compromising, there is no end to it. So our organization's core values are very clear. Healthcare, education, nutrition is to be free. And when disease does not differentiate between poor and rich, for case in hand is COVID, why should treatment or any other health facility differentiate? Education is common basic right, so we will not negotiate on that. Rich person's child also is free to get educated here. A lot of people, even people from abroad, come and study here. They have better facilities because they like something here which they don't get anywhere else, whatever the value system and things like that. So it's not just about being free, it's also about being the culture and the value system that we bring for which people come here. And all those who ask me whether this is sustainable, this is scalable, I think just have a cursory look at last 10 years of work. And not 1 rupee has been charged to anybody. And we have 4 super specialty hospitals. And pediatric cardiac care hospitals are the costliest. Most of the corporate hospitals don't have that section because poor people's disease, no insurance cover pediatric cardiac care. and no experts in the country. So we have picked up a challenging task, and we have done so well. And we have opened in Fiji one, and now we are opening in Sri Lanka another. So I don't think being free, of course, coming from the corporate side, it almost sounds like what sorcery is this? How do you run free institutions, that too high-end institutions, not some primary healthcare center, OPD section or something. But this is the proof of the work. I always tell, the one who does anything with pure intention, with selfless intention, as they say, the universe will conspire to help such a person. And this is our experience. If in 10 years it has not failed us, and we are running, and we have grown from a school to a university, we have grown from a simple hospital to super specialty tertiary care hospitals, and nutrition program, we started with 50 people, takes care of 5 lakh plus children across 17 states and 3 union territories. People have come. People have come and joined us because they believe that this idea is so unique. This core idea that it should be free and available to all is so unique. The moment we put this 80-20 model over there, which is what the suggestion from many people are, many people even before contributing, they ask, we don't know whether this contribution will even help you because you will not sustain tomorrow. We said, don't worry about tomorrow. You do what is needed to be done today. Tomorrow will be looked after. And it has been looked after. I'm not saying it is easy. I'm not saying it is simple. It takes effort. It takes convincing. It takes talking to people. It takes invoking the goodness in all. But I only tell them one thing. We consider everybody as our own. Now, how do I charge our own? Suppose your mother is sick. Are you going to tell, Amma, can I withdraw something from your pension account to take care of your treatment when I can look after it? So for me, all are mine. All are ours. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is in action here. It's not just a talk. And we have seen it prove itself. Through struggles and strikes, we have managed. And we have managed to run it free. Never reduce the services, the quality of services, nor shut down any of our operations, but we have been continuously growing. And if you look at the exponential, I think most of corporate people should be jealous of us. The way we have opened and run the institutions purely based on the power of goodness. And I firmly believe where there is love, there is goodness, the whole universe will come and support them. And this is the experience of our institution. This is our core value, which I am not willing to compromise. How do we scale it up? The way we have scaled, we have talked to more people have joined this mission. And like, just think of it. None of you were here maybe a month ago. Some of you were there a few weeks ago. I met you only a couple of months back. But when you look at something like this, what happens within you? You ask yourself, don't you feel that I must do something about it? I can't just sit and watch this happening. That thing creates next mission and the next institution. That is how it grows. So far we have not been proven wrong. We have stuck to our idea of being free. And I always say it is not a new idea. India was always about free education, free healthcare. Our Vaidyas never charged anybody. That's why Vaidyo Narayana Hari. Our teachers never charged anybody. That's why Acharya Devo Bhava. Food was free. Annakshetras, temples, homes, anywhere you can go and get food. There was never a concept of hotel in India. Restaurants where you have to buy food. This is all Western idea. India, anybody could walk into your house and say, Amma, I'm hungry, please serve me something. Whatever is there will be served. Even today in Chhattisgarh, where we belong, we have a hospital. The tribals have more buddhi than the rich people. In the middle of the forest, when they go to collect some forest produce for their living, they carry food from their home because they'll return only in the evening. And when they sit down to eat the food, they shout out, is there anybody hungry around? I have some food. I would like to share. Even a tribal person knows that food should be shared and not sold. He doesn't say, if anybody is hungry around, I can sell half the food for such money. He just says, come share it with me. Today also in villages, there is practice where people wait for some guests to come feed them and then only they have their meal. This is the India that we lived in. That is why we were so prosperous. Whatever Sone ke chidiya and all that. Living like this, we were more prosperous. By not living like this, we thought we'll become prosperous, but that has not happened. We have become one of the poorer countries, still developing country after 75 years of independence. So I have completely, firmly believe, and I believe human goodness has infinite potential, and wherever good happens, God is there. Literally, G-O-O-D, good, G-O-D, God. I say every good has God in it, and God is the owner of this whole universe. What can you tell him? So far, it has going well, and we will stick to our guns, come what may.
Thank you so much. What is the vision for this medical institution that we are building now? How big we want to, how we want to scale up this and how many places we want to go?
See, the medical institution was not initially a part of our vision. We were running hospitals and we were happy to provide healthcare as much as possible, and we were okay with it. After that, what happened was not really concerning us. We took care of the patient then. But we were running educational institutions where children join at 6th class, they live in a residential Gurukula system, and then they grow all the way to become a part of the university. So higher education also we did not have 3 years ago, 4 years ago. But we added because we realized so many of these rural children will not continue their education if it is not provided free. In fact, we opened some institutions because some girl came and told, Swamiji, please open an institution, otherwise my father will not let me study further because he won't pay. We have 4 children, his salary is 4,000 rupees, he is not going to pay for my education. But I want to study. So this is how higher education came into picture. The next thing, what medical education, how it came into picture is because when we were opening so many hospitals, we realized there is dearth of both combination of competency and compassion. Now, that kind of healthcare professionals are missing in the society. Some people are very good, but they may not be extremely competent. Some people are very competent, but they're in high demand. They are not available to do rural work. So this was the gap that we found in the medical education. And many of our students, we started sponsoring their medical education in various institutions because they wanted to become doctors and serve in rural areas. So after having thought through the whole thing, now that this year we are opening almost 10 mother and child centers from all the way from Rishikesh in Uttarakhand down to Karnataka, everywhere in West, East and Central India. We need doctors, we need paramedics, nurses, and we want them to be inspired people, who don't run behind their personal kind of career growth and things like that, but more out of compassion for others. At the same time, we are not saying we'll deny them any personal growth. That also will be a part of an institution. It's a professional institution. So medical education came into picture because many of our children wanted to become doctors, but coming from vernacular backgrounds, they struggle to get into premier institutions or get a free seat. It takes time. The NEET does not. It is not a level game. NEET is vernacular people find it difficult to read English and write exams in it. So we thought we must train them, but we have created so much goodness in them from the 6th class onwards that they have passion to serve. And we thought if we continue to give them the opportunity to be with us, probably they'll become our warriors. They will go to all the rural areas and do the work. So that furthers the cause of this mission. So it is like a self-perpetuating model. You get these children trained into medical education, they become part of our medical system, healthcare system, and it furthers itself. So from that point it has come. Now where it is going to go from here, as I said, we might be the only unique institution. Apart from being free, we also have nursing and paramedical courses all under one roof to ensure that it's a complete system is taken care of. Second, I believe this becomes a success in 5 to 10 years. If we have good participation from people, from the governments, from all the sections of the society, probably I would like to open 5 such colleges across 5 corners of the country, especially Northeast and desert areas of the West, because we have patients coming from there, from everywhere. But that is the vision in 25 years. The 100th year of India's independence should see at least 5 of our medical colleges across the country, and all free. Nothing being charged. That is the vision we have.
Thank you, Sadhguru. Sadhguru, I have seen most of the spiritual institutions, they focus in enlightening the people through discourses, and and they try to achieve peace through meditation and all that. That is what mostly the spiritual organizations focus on. Contrary to that, we are doing a lot of seva. So what is the idea behind choosing to do a lot of service to the mankind, and service in the physical form, not just only giving a good advice to better their life?
It is our firm conviction that all spirituality must express itself as service. Spirituality bereft of service is not spirituality at all to me. And service bereft of spirituality is not service at all. So they are like two sides of the same coin. Now you say you are spiritual, you feel the oneness of everything, you have love and compassion for all. How can you see somebody hungry? How can you see somebody struggling, sick? How can you see somebody without education or an employment? What kind of spirituality is that? Similarly, when we do service, many NGOs believe in service, but they don't believe in God, or they're atheistic or whatever. But their service is also not complete because they're only bringing the physical relief, mental relief to the people who are being served. They're not bringing the spiritual component, which is far more important when you do service. So we found ourselves in this sweet spot where we are a spiritual come service organization, and till recently We used to call ourselves a spiritual organization which was doing service, but of late we have redefined ourselves as a service organization which is founded on spiritual values. So we are largely a service organization, and I think this is the model, this is how it should be, that every spiritualist must be service oriented, because spirituality must practically demonstrate, express itself as a help to somebody in need, which Gandhiji said, there are so many hungry people in the world that God cannot but come to them as bread. So for the hungry, bread is God. I talk to him about Advaita Vedanta, he's not going to understand anything. He's suffering there with hunger. I put a plate of hot meal, he eats it, then I tell this is sent by God. Trust God. I have better case. So what is needed in the country, what is needed in the society is what we need to do. Empty words will not fill anybody's stomach. So my whole concept of spirituality that we must make it service oriented, and all service should be born out of the spiritual love, not for self-aggrandizement or some kind of you want to win an award or a reward or a medal somewhere. And many people, I often joke, the amount of service they do is not even worth the garland that we have to put on their neck. That's costlier than their service. So I don't want such service. Silently we do service. Many people tell us you are not known despite you do. I think we are the world's largest pediatric cardiac care hospitals, which is free also. And still there is no news about us anywhere. Very little is known. I said because we believe in doing, not talking too much. We believe in work, not mentioning about it too much, but it spreads like fragrance. Now, whom we need, they come to us. The patients come to us. We don't advertise, they come to us. Right kind of doctors come to us. Right support comes to us at the right time. So this is our model. This is how both should go hand in hand. But we are finally saying that service should be our front end and spirituality should be the back engine which pushes service.
Thank you, Sadhguru. Maybe we'll take some questions from the audience, Sadhguru, with your permission. Yes. So, anybody from audience? Yeah.
Sadhguru Pranam. I'm a public health professional. For us, health is defined as not only absence of disease, but presence of physical, mental, and social well-being. In 1998, World Health Organization has met. They wanted to add the spiritual health as the fourth dimension. It is documented, sir. Somehow it could not take to the right place. Now we have only 3 dimensions. My question to you is, we as doctors, we are obsessed about this evidence-based approach. So my request to you is that can you just throw light on for what I call who looks at the materialistic things. We believe in double-blind randomized control trial. How I can convince a person who talks about this evidence? Second is that, is there a scope that with people like you and others can include spiritual health into the overall, because you have referred to the word well-being in the foreknown? Thank you.
A much disputed idea, spirituality, the most misunderstood concept at this point in time in the world, because we mix up spirituality with religion. And that's where the confusion is. Most of the institutions want to remain secular. They don't want to talk about something that will create conflicts. So the first reason why spirituality as a term is rejected, because it's mostly compared with religion. So if you're religious, you're spiritual. It's not true. Religion is a set of doctrines or rules or regulations which helps you to follow a certain philosophy or an idea. It helps people to keep themselves together and follow a certain idea. But spirituality is the concept of the divine existence of all beings. And what do I mean by divine existence? Divinity does not have a name, form, a place, or an address. It is that consciousness which drives everything in this universe. All of us who are able to listen to me or talk to me, or you're able to sit and experience anything, because we have this force within us which drives us. Medical professionals will say, no, that is just the life force. As long as your heart is beating and brain is working and kidneys are functioning, you are alive. Moment it all stops, you are dead. Now, what makes it all stop is my question. You will say disease makes it stop. But our spirituality goes a little beyond that. It says, yes, disease is the reason, the excuse. But the real reason for it is something else, prana we call it. And that which drives all these things is consciousness. That consciousness is God, is what spirituality would say. Religion would say, no, God is that who is sitting in the heaven. And if you do something wrong, He is going to punish you sooner or later. If you do something right, He is going to post you at the higher grade 5-star heaven facility. That is all they tell. That is wrong. I am talking spirituality as a connect with oneself, where one feels that beyond body and mind, their existence continues. We experience that at all times, but we do not acknowledge it. That is all it is. Now you call it as, now how do I make it evidence based at this point in time? How do I put it together for people? See, I'm not talking about the whole world. Let us take only India as an example. Now in India, everybody subscribes to some faith or the other. All patients, even your patients would come. They trust that God whom they believe more than you and your medical expertise, and especially in these critical times. And you cannot deny them that right to subscribe to an idea, a thought, a philosophy or faith which makes them feel comfortable. And that is why it has to be included as whatever faith or philosophy you follow, which helps you connect to your higher self, which helps you connect to your self within, makes you feel comfortable, peaceful. That is spirituality to you. I don't want to define it under a religious principle. So if you define spirituality correctly, probably it will get accepted better. And how to evidence God, existence of God, is very difficult to say, because the scriptures describe yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasasa, that which cannot be empirically found, or that cannot be measured through our senses or any other metrics, is God. By definition, it is not measurable. So there is no way you can put in evidence. But then I must talk to you doctors, and you also use this. You heard about placebo effect, right? Now, is there any medicine in that? No, but still people get cured. And is there any evidence? But still placebo effect is a known phenomenon, is a well-known phenomenon. When you have nothing to do, give sugar water to the patient and say, this is a good medicine, a new medicine, it will be all right. I hope pharmaceutical companies are not doing that. But how does the patient get cured with a placebo? Same thing is the idea of God and faith. It is by definition not measurable, not quantifiable. So attempts will not work. But it is a concept that helps people calm down, helps people believe hope, faith, and that helps them to reduce their anxieties. See, you as a doctor, you want to operate on somebody's blood pressure is somewhere. You can't operate. But just by giving this idea of faith and whatever, to pray to whichever God you want, however you feel comfortable, it brings down their anxiety. And that is the contribution of spirituality. So if spirituality can simply be defined as any idea or philosophy which that person subscribes to, he should be encouraged to continue in that, as long as that helps the person become better, mentally, physically, socially, emotionally. And we all depend on faith. We all depend on hope. Whether the biggest scientific brain also cannot deny that faith exists. And whatever you believe in, that is your spirituality. So that is all I want to say about spirituality. Don't mix it with religion and confuse it, but allow patients to follow whatever they want. Even in our hospitals, it's a Muslim patient, you talk to him in his terms. He believes in Allah. You tell him, pray to Allah, you'll be fine. He goes to a corner, prays to Allah, comes back better. So that works. And that works for every person with any amount of faith. Forget about God. Even if you have a faith in a friend whom you trust a lot, if the friend comes and says, don't worry, you'll be fine. You know he's not a medical expert. He knows nothing about what's happening to you. But just that positive word, that becomes a mantra. That healing power is very, very strong. That's why I tell doctors, tell the truth, but tell in a way that the patient does not get depressed then and there. Tell in a nice way. Tell in a proper way. And that also is spirituality. Speaking with love is spirituality. So at the fundamental level, this concept of a higher power that governs everything and it is in charge of everything, and faith in that is spirituality. And everybody has fundamental right to believe in whatever power. Somebody believes in a tree, let it be so. If it helps that person, how does it matter to us? So everybody should be allowed that. And if we define it correctly, I think it can be incorporated into the overall medical definition of health.
Anybody else? Any other question? So we are, I think, well before time.
Well before, then I have to ask a question. No chance is mine. So you definitely went through a lot of discussions. I heard some of them on the YouTube. I did not have, I had other engagement today, but I was listening to that. I heard about Professor Dr. Velumani's 1.0, 2.0, and I look forward to 2.0 very, very keenly. And I want our institutions to be a part of that 2.0. That is the first takeaway from this conference. And everybody talked about the rural healthcare, the importance of it, the diagnostic services, doorstep diagnostics, use of artificial intelligence technology. That is the way forward. There is no doubt about it. But if before we all return to our places, if we can put in a little thought and say, this is what I can do as a part of this idea of taking healthcare to rural doorsteps. And I'm not saying if we work with one institution or two, we all work together. I was telling on the way we were talking, Dr. Srinivas was telling, now our presence is there in almost every part of the country with local champions. In Odisha, you need a Odia speaking healthcare professional. You can't send somebody from Karnataka and say, you please handle that center. It doesn't work. In Rishikesh, in Chhattisgarh, in Jharkhand, you won't even understand the language that they speak, those tribals. So you need somebody from that community who should be a part of it. And fortunately, when we thought this is the 10th year of our medical healthcare mission, and 10th year we must establish 10 centers is what we had thought in India about mother and child care, because we found that every year we are finding more children coming with congenital diseases. We can't take care of them. Prevention is better than cure. So if you have any ideas, and in whichever way you can be a part of it, please pen down those ideas and do help us to put it all together so that something productive comes out of it. I said I'm very goal oriented. I'm very I must see the result of whatever we do. It's a nice thing to discuss and understand each other, but it should result in the conference's idea being furthered, which is affordable and accessible healthcare. I'm not saying everything can be done free. In your own spheres, you can do what you want. However you want, makes it cheaper, accessible. That is also help done. And as they say, now in India, there is a missing middle. You were talking about that missing middle. Ayushman Bharat does not cover them because they're not as poor as those, nor they have private insurances which can take care of their things. So there are almost 40 crore people in India who are neither here nor there. They have fallen through the cracks. So they need a lot of help. Probably all these institutions put together can help that 40 crore while I work on that lower 50 crores. So there is a possibility of doing much more as corporates, as charitable institutions. And the key lies, we have nailed it, it lies in costing, lies in pricing and volumes. And India provides you with tremendous volumes. So I would ask you that if any of you would think that we should further this with the institution, we will do. In your own spheres, if you have local collaborations, that is also fine. But one thing that I can promise you is that this institution will generate the amount of data it will generate in the years to come. No other institution in India will generate across different specialities from all parts of the country. And this institution is definitely going to grow that way. Already we have that. What can we do about it to improve our healthcare systems, delivery systems, technology and everything? That is something again open to all of you. In your own way, you can come back and tell this is how we would like to use this opportunity, which helps, mutually it helps, which helps research and for the improvement of your services and products. It helps us because that will help us to reach this care to many more people. So I just want to ask that if there is an interest, please do get back to us and through any of these channels which are available through whom we have been contacted. And we look forward to a lasting partnership and collaboration for the coming times. And our aim is, I'm not even telling 2 years, I'm saying 25 years from now, I want to see in India, where I'm not saying people will not be born without diseases, because disease is a natural law, I can't do much about it. But whoever is having any disease also has access to healthcare. That's all we want to ensure in 25 years. And all those of us who are going to be around for 25 years, please think seriously about it. We want to see that India. So wishing you all the very best for all that you are doing. In some way you are impacting the country and the world. Please continue doing that. Also find ways to join hands with us. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Ram Babu.